today. It's really fantastic to have a group of us all together to be able to talk about this important topic. In 1994, First Canada joined with the Maternal and Child Health Bureau, the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development, and the American Academy of Pediatrics to launch Back to Sleep, which was one of the most successful public education campaigns in our nation's history. And the whole idea was that the research had showed that babies are safer when they sleep on their backs. And so getting that message out had a tremendous impact. And since then, infant suffocation rates have declined by more than 50%. And we've reached 72% compliance with back sleeping recommendations for infants. So there's been some great strides. But what's happened recently, as anyone that follows these statistics knows, is that all of those gains that happened early on have begun to level out. There's not as much of an emphasis placed on this important topic. And along with the rise of the internet, now there's a lot of different information that's out there. Someone can do research for 20 years and find a great discovery and post it online, and then someone else can come up with some great idea they just had last night and post it online, and it sort of looks the same online. And what we at First Canada have found is that we're having much greater impact and much greater effect if we're actually talking to people. Not to get away from all of our messaging on the internet, but it's so much more powerful if you can sit down and have a conversation with someone. And so more and more, that's the way that we're going. There's been tremendous progress in this area, but still the United States is only ranked 29th among developed nations in infant mortality rates. Somewhere between Slovakia and some other Eastern Slovakia country that I can't remember, but it's pretty far down there. And there's really no excuse for that. We've got one of the greatest healthcare systems in the world. We've got a lot of education that's out there. But I think the important part, like I said, is just getting the word out. And that's what brings us all together today. I'm going to introduce a few people, but all in our own way, we're working together. And that's what this breakfast is all about, or this lunch is all about, is working together, getting the word out about back to sleep and about safe sleep, but even more specifically, like Bing said, about when our children go into childcare or daycare. Because things get pretty scary when that happens. We might be very well aware of the best ways to raise our children and how we want to do that. But then when they go into daycare, we just sort of assume. I know my daughter is 9 months old. When she would even just stay over with her grandmother, with my wife's mom, there was a lot of education that we had to do with my wife's mom, because my wife's mom didn't know all this stuff, all the stuff that maybe some of us in this room sort of take for granted. So here are some of the statistics that when the four of us began to talk about it, I think it was these statistics that sort of caught our eye and made us want to focus in this area of childcare in particular. When you take the amount of time that children spend in daycare, on average, as opposed to the amount of time that they spend with their parents, you would think that the SIDS rates or the infant suffocation rates would be the same, but they're not. Actual infant death or infant suffocation rates when a child goes into childcare is more than double. Once a child goes into childcare, the chance of that child suffocating doubles. 60% of these infants that die in family child care, 20% in child care centers, and 20% in the care of relatives. So it's important that we get this message out beyond the messaging to the moms and dads that most of us think about. It's important that we spread this awareness to the child care providers, as well as empowering the moms to know that they have to demand certain things when they drop their babies off at child care. Infants who die in child care tend to be white with older, educated parents. This is noteworthy because normally someone that's in a low-risk category, you would think, well, they sort of know the information. But I think the statistic that stuck out to us the most is that just being in child care moves an infant from low risk to high risk. Just putting a child in child care. So that's part of the statistics around occurrence. Some of the timing. Approximately 1/3 of sleep-related injuries in childcare occur in the first week. The first week a baby goes in childcare, 1/3 of all the sleep-related injuries happen then. And half of those happen on the very first day. So as you can see, it's incredibly important for us to make sure that our parents are aware of this information before they even consider putting their child into childcare. They need to be armed with these statistics and this knowledge before they're ready to put their child into childcare. So a lot of folks, when we talk about these statistics, a lot of folks ask me, what is it that puts these babies at risk? Is there something that's, a risk factor that's intrinsic to childcare? And the research is still out on there's some great research that's happening that actually First Candle is a part of. But a lot of the identifiable and preventable factors are related to the babies that are accustomed to sleeping on their back. When they go into daycare, the providers put them on their stomach and they're not used to that. Or about rolling onto their tummy, or just being in a different environment. So there's a lot of research that's still being done around this, and First Candle is involved in that. But the idea is that we have to get this information out, because basically, if a parent is well educated about the importance of safe sleep and about lowering risk, we want to make sure that they take that same knowledge to their child care provider. So part of the reason that we worked with Luncheon and Regal in creating this little item that we put at everyone's seat, is so that you could say as a parent, and I use this in my own family, whenever someone is, I use this exact same piece, because you sent us a whole bunch of them. But I use this exact same piece. And so instead of having some sort of a confrontation, not sure what to talk about, just give this to the person that's watching your baby and say, this is what I expect. This is what I do, and this is what I want to make sure you do when you have my baby. And we use this personally. I use this, like I said, all the time. So personally, I know that it works. But also, in general, the concept of making sure that we're passing on the same information to everyone that's watching our children. So the whole idea here today is the synergy that's created by all of us getting together. We want to get the message out, whether it's online or in conversation or in the products of putting the information in the baby products that's being handed out. The partnership that we have with Regal and Love to Dream is targeting this at-risk population. We feel that we can make a difference. And there's so many people that are involved in working on safe sleep, around the country. And so we link arms with them and we partner with them as often as possible. But it's not just about those sort of charities that do that. I invited Kathleen from Baby Buggy to be here today. And it's a great charity that we've worked with for many years. They're working with us to spread the message in daycares up in the Bronx. And also it's important that as moms come and work with them, that they're able to pass on this information as well. On June 20th, we'll be doing a presentation with the Daycare Council of New York. We actually invited them to be with us today, but they couldn't make it. But we're working with the Daycare Council of New York to launch this program among that group here in New York City. Also, I've invited Lorraine Boyd and